Have you ever smiled in front of people, but deep down you were breaking apart? It is a heavy feeling that stays with you long after the day ends.
He looked strong to everyone around him, laughing and talking like everything was okay, but behind the mask, the weight of the silence felt heavier every single day.
But every night, the silence reminded him of battles nobody knew about. It was a heavy weight that lingered in the darkness. Bills were piling up, dreams were slowly dying, and the people he once trusted most in this world, they all just eventually disappeared into the dark.
He kept asking himself one painful question, staring into the silence of the room, wondering if things would ever get better or if this weight would remain.
He woke up tired, not because he did not sleep, but because life itself had exhausted him, leaving him feeling as though the days ahead were heavy burdens to carry alone. The pressure, the disappointments, the unanswered prayers, everything slowly became too much for me to bear as I sat there alone in the quiet of the room. How much longer can I keep pretending I am okay? It is becoming harder to hide how I feel, and the weight of it is truly heavy. I spent so many years chasing those distant horizons, but looking back now, I realize that some things The silence of the night feels heavier than usual, and I find myself trapped in a cycle of thoughts that refuse to quiet down. Still, somehow, deep inside him, there was a tiny voice whispering that he should try to find a way to start over and make things right again. It felt like the world kept moving outside these walls, everything rushing forward in a blur of time, while I remained here, completely stuck in the same place. He tried his best, but somehow, nothing seemed enough. It feels like no matter how hard I push, the more he fought, the more life pushed back. Some days he sat quietly and wondered if all the struggles
Why is life so hard? Will things ever change?
And somehow, he still kept going. Because sometimes, survival itself becomes courage. You stop expecting people to understand. You begin to suffer in places nobody can reach. It is a quiet. Even when surrounded by people, he still felt truly alone in this vast world, yet he found a quiet comfort knowing that God is always watching over him.
Lord, do you still see me? Do you hear my prayers? Why does this...
Every night at exactly 11:47 p.m., the last train arrived. It was always the same routine. But one man stayed behind. He watched as the others slowly departed, his weary eye. His name was Michael. I often wonder what he remembers of the life he once knew, before the world became this quiet, cold place for both of us. The cold was his only companion, a quiet shadow that followed him through every long, empty day until the winter chill settled deep within his bones. Everything he owned fit into one small bag, a single, weary collection of memories held tightly against the weight of a long and difficult life lived alone. Inside the bag there was a photo, a faded memory of a time long gone, tucked away carefully as if to keep the warmth of that moment alive forever.
Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not luck.
I am the God who holds you through every sleepless night. You have been stretched, but not to break.